Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
A Time for Truth show is sponsored by the Office of Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, a periodontal, dental implant and laser specialist in New York City, for over 40 years. Dr. Fialkoff was honored by the International College of Dentists and Pierre Fauchard, and received the Presidential Lifetime Humanitarian Honor from the White House. Call us at 718-229-3838.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Good evening. Welcome back to A Time for Truth show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff. Pleasure to have you with us again tonight. And we're very honored to have a very special guest with us, because our world is lacking. Our world has scarcity. Too much thought only goes on economics and wealth. But what about humanity? What about people? What about the future of this planet, the human race and nature? And tonight we have someone who has dedicated her life to that and much more. Queen Mother Blakely, the community mayor of Harlem. I've been at different events and seen the respect given to her by great athletes like Globetrotter, Harlem Globetrotter, Robert Bobby Z. Hunter, Mayor Johnny Ford, who also was a great basketball player in his youth, and many others, and also many dignitaries, and also a good friend of mine, humanitarian human rights, Mary Shuttleworth from South Africa. So it's really such an honor, such a pleasure to have her here. We're both very busy, so it's taken quite a while for this to occur. But Queen Mother, welcome to A Time for Truth show.
Blessing, thank you.
How are you doing today?
Everything is in divine order of my coming from the United Nations. And a day like today, miracles are always happening. So we as a people must remember, when we go into our deeper selves, that God runs the world and we run around in it.
That's
but
so true.
Everything is in divine order.
It's quite amazing how things seem to be coincidental,
Yes.
but they're not. And if we look, they lead to some product, some result, something positive, and like tonight's show. And so first what I want to do is, because I want the viewers to get to know you, they've probably heard about you, and I know that every event I go to, I see the respect accorded to you. What I was going to ask you, when you were a young girl, what were your dreams?
I guess as a young girl, and I've done a book about my childhood called The Harlem Street Nun. I don't know where it came from, but as a child, I was interested in always serving others. The elders who could not walk across the street alone, I would run out and help them to cross the street. And when my godparents were medical doctors and they owned their own hospital, and I wanted to serve, so they allowed me to sneak into the hospital and carry them goodies and to bring books for them to read and for me to pray for them. And I wanted to be a singer like Marian Anderson, getting to know you, getting to know all about you. And I know that I would learn to sing, so you could imagine that I have a voice. And so I wanted to serve, and I guess the Creator made sure I was able to fulfill my dreams and aspiration in serving others. And as a Roman Catholic nun,
Yes.
which my family is not Catholic,
Amazing.
but I wanted to serve others, and I met a nun in my neighborhood, and I said, I want to be just like you.
Look at that. Well,
Serve God and sing at the same time.
You're always doing a lot of things, but I wanted to ask you, and I'm sorry to interject, but I wanted to do something because I think in life there's a lack of this, and I see how your parents availed you this opportunity. I always believe in acknowledging them. What were their names, your two parents?
I'm doing a history. I'm doing my life
Yes.
with New York University, Professor Carl. And they're building out my life and telling my story, which I started in the Harlem Street Nun. So you're going to have to buy the book from Amazon
To find out.
and read about Queen Mother and the beginning of her life. But to answer you, at this time, it's like I was set in motion, and I want the young people to realize that there is soul energy that they must hold on and endowed with from their parents or from their community.
Absolutely.
And so I was very blessed and lucky to be a part of a community that extended their care to me as a little girl growing up. So my family was more than my parents. So the community raised me.
You had a lot of love.
I had a lot of love,
Well,
especially from my father. I'm a girl. I'm a father's girl.
You were daddy's little girl.
Yes, I'm daddy's little girl. Yes.
Well, I know that they had a big influence. I know that my own parents, my mother was very tough on me, exerted a lot of discipline.
Yes.
My father was a very intelligent man, and he was a physician, a Cuban physician. I knew about everything. He loved to read. So I always like to make sure we acknowledge, and then one of the things I know Queen Mother and I would both want this show to be something positive is one of the reasons for the show is truth. We need to acknowledge each other.
Yes.
We'll take a moment in the middle of this very important show. Let's acknowledge the people that have helped us, like we're doing tonight with Queen Mother, because the future occurs because of the help and the support that got us to where we got to. And with that, Queen Mother, I wanted to go back to what you started to say, and I interjected. So how is it this young woman who's not even Catholic then becomes a Catholic nun?
Well, my family, and especially my father, allowed me to wonder and to vision where I want to go. And since I wanted to love God, you go to Bible school, you go to the camp during the summer, and at the camp, a Christian camp at that time, you learn about the ways of the Bible and about the holy men and women of the Bible. So I want to be just like them in growing up. I wanted to serve and love God. And you hear them talk about Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Walking in the water and feeding everybody with the 5 loaves of bread. The thousands was fed. And so the ways of Christ inspired me. Why could I not do it also? In my prayers of asking Christ to let me be just like Christ. So that was my dream and aspiration. And anyone that was interested in religion, I spent many days in the church because I have family who was ministers in the Baptist and Methodist church. So I went there, and when I would sing in the church as a little girl, not only in school, but because of the voice I had, and I mimicked Marian Anderson, I wanted to sing just like her. Ooh, and tremble my voice and sing. So I wanted to sing for God in the church, which I did.
In the choir.
And they clapped for me in the choir and outside the choir.
Everywhere.
I just had parts of being able to sing. So in school, they would ask me to sing. So I loved to sing, and I wanted to sing for everyone. And then I wanted to sing for God.
What's amazing, because all these years that I've known you, and I had no idea that you actually, and you have some voice I could just hear just now. You gave a little glimpse. You have a strong voice.
Yes, contralto
Oh,
is my voice. And I stopped singing because of Sister Act. When I did the work of Sister Act, being a nun, had a literary agent on Park Avenue to tell my story as a nun after I had been in the convent at an early age. By the age of 16, I was in a convent, never finished high school, and ended up going to Harvard, MIT, and Columbia University.
my Lord.
And so the convent, Franciscan Handmaids of Mary, believed in me on the age. They usually take you after at least high school.
You were some human being already.
Well, I made it clear to them when I wrote my little letter to the bishop of the Catholic Church in my area that I wanted to serve God, and I want to go now.
He saw, the Archbishop of the diocese saw your intention.
Yes, and writing to the nuns, and went to visit the nuns who lived on the beach in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I told them I want to be just like them. And I'm not interested in just having a sandwich from them or having a soda from them or having milk from them, but I want to be just like them.
Wow.
Serving God.
Did they believe you? What was their response?
Well, they thought it was tickle because who I was speaking to happened to be white nuns on
Okay.
the beach in Miami, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on the beach where they had the convent. So I had the time to talk to them. They're going to teach me Catholicism, catechism, and how to become just a Catholic. You have to go through a process.
That's right.
And so why are they trying to help me to go through this process of becoming a Catholic? It took a minute or two, and then eventually they give you godparents. And my godparents was from the community, the Mizels, which was highly skilled African Americans in my community that embraced me and took me on as their goddaughter.
What an amazing collaboration that happened instantaneously when you were young.
Yes, young, wanted to serve others and those that did not have means. And so today I talk about that. The word I use so often is 3 things we must do for each other as we move for the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. That is 0 hunger.
That's right.
And when we look at 0 homelessness.
That's right.
And 0 clothing to protect us from the elements of life. When we think of climate change, is one of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, as well as health, as well as food
Community
to feed all.
Collaboration.
Yes, in terms of hunger. How do we do it? And so being at the United Nations, going on 56 years as a humanitarian, I was able to travel the world and celebrate my 50th anniversary at the United Nations. So I've been blessed. I've had the opportunity to be involved with the UN. Never I wanted to work for it. I wanted to work for us and to agitate the UN of inclusion for all of us to be a part of the UN. And that's the goal that I stuck with at the United Nations and my pursuit of being a humanitarian at the United Nations.
It makes total sense because, you know, you have these figures internationally, globally, that come there, and they represent people.
Yes.
But, you know, what your point is very well taken, because in order to really have an organization that really symbolizes humanity, you have to have humanity. And so it's interesting, your thought. Tell me a little bit more about what you were thinking, you know, with the UN, and here you come in. And what was it like at the beginning? Did they just open up their arms, or was it difficult?
It was very difficult because I was not representing a delegation of member states. You know, they're dedicated to member states, which really they are dedicated to countries. And outside of that, then they have certain stakeholders that they're dedicated to. But with agitating, you have the NGOs, non-government organizations,
Yes.
which Queen Mother fit underneath there with my not-for-profit New Future Foundation.
New Future Foundation.
Dealing with the youth and dealing with mothers and children. If you deal with the children and the youth, mothers will come. And so with women as well, because of the focal for me has been youth and how they could be engaged globally, learn languages of the United Nations, and serve the United Nations through their lens as young people. So I have internships at the United Nations for young people of the world.
Oh, you do?
I do. So I cut that out as my way of being involved with the UN as I looked at the UN. And since I did not want to work for the UN, I cannot agitate for for others in the United Nations if you work for the United Nations. There's a protocol.
That's right.
And so I said no, in spite of the fact that one of the Secretary General, Kofi Annan, wanted me to work for the UN and spend time in Africa. The mission would have been Africa for me because that's where I wanted to go.
Wow.
But I wanted to stay at 42nd Street and First Avenue where I am today and to agitate at the United Nations for what I believe in, for the issues that I nurture around young people.
Well, it's interesting to speak to you,
Yes.
and I'm sure it's coming across as we do the show. And probably people wonder, and are out there, some young people or people who may be older looking for what to do. And I think you all see this, and I want to acknowledge something that I'm feeling from you, is you exude not just a confidence, but a warmth and a strength in your resolve of what you really want to do for humanity. And it's interesting to feel it, because I can see why the Secretary General would have been really very happy to have you represent the UN in Africa and what you would accomplish. But it's amazing the feeling of family and home that comes out of you as you're speaking about why you maintained your position. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing, because in today's world, I think that's lost, where people actually protect and symbolize where they came from, who they are. And, you know, I know that the people watching the show will get a lot out of this. So, and you kind of mentioned a little bit, but here you have this tremendous position, because you see all these Facebook ads now. And it's always about someone who's made X amount of whatever in almost no time, and they're going to show you how to do this. But I want to ask you, because this is a different kind of promotion. what is your outlook and your mindset that led you to, no, I'm not going to take this tremendous UN position, but I'm going to do what's in my heart to do? Talk a little bit about that if you could.
Well, I think in my position, I wanted to stay in New York. And once you take the position, you must go on the mission that is meant for you to go on through the United Nations. They let you know where you're to be. And I said, I know where I want to be. I want to be on 42nd Street and First Avenue. I also wanted to be an agitator. I want to agitate for what I believe in, for myself and for others, the unjust society. And that's why I care for Mary dealing with human rights with the youth.
Mary Shuttleworth.
Fairness.
Mary Shuttleworth.
Fairness.
Yes.
And just. When I look at African descendants, which is about 55 million of us, of the transatlantic ocean, of the slave trade,
Right.
coming through that challenge of life for us in large numbers in the United States of America, we have a right to our continent, Mother Africa.
Sure.
No one could ever take that away from us, but someone must agitate. And I thought the best place for me to be to agitate was the United Nations. And so I've agitated for many years about the greatest crime committed against the people. And that's the African descendants of the transatlantic ocean, of the slave trade. And so that route is a part of my mission at the United Nations. It's called the Arc of Return. At the UN, address that issue of the transatlantic ocean of the slave trade. When you arrive at the United Nations public entrance, you see it right in front of you, that monument. That is a symbol to the world. And then you have the African People Permanent Forum at the United Nations, so we can continue to agitate. And I call myself as the spook who sat by the door at the United Nations. So I became chipping away with language. And in 2025, it's now a reality. A word called reparations for
Right.
the greatest crime ever committed against the people.
Right.
You can't overlook that. 400 years of it. So thinking about those who's been about that struggle, whether it has been the Holocaust, and as I tell my colleagues about the Holocaust, where I come from is a Holocaust. So we have our debate, what that means to us in the suffering experience that we have endured. And not only two groups, but many, when you think of what's happening today. In the Holy Land, which I went in the 70s, how would I be able to go now?
No, it's horrific what's going on over there.
Today,
Absolutely. And, you
Yes.
know, your point is well taken.
yes.
And I think that as humanity, we have to listen to what you're saying and realize when you take away from people where they were born, when you take away their right of decision of what they want to do in their lives, you create tremendous animosity, tremendous degradation too, because when you take away a person's right to decide for themselves, you're degrading them. You're taking away their strength. You're so right. You know, we're getting near the end of this particular program. I wanted to ask you, what message would you like to give the viewers, and what would you like to see occur for real, not in just terminology and saying words, but in action. What do you see? I'm not going to say what do you think, because I know that you see after all these years. What do you see needs to happen in our world so it can move forward as a human race? Not as individuals, not in conflict, but as a human race. What needs to happen?
What needs to happen? We must become good neighbors, care for each other. What I want for myself, I should want for others. And that we live together. We're not in isolation. We learn from each other every day, all day. And so as a reminder, what you hear from your left and right brain, your innate gift speaks to you. And gather your innate gift to do what you must do on the sacred path of life. And you know it when it happens.
That's very true. You know, it's very interesting when you do something that's in your heart.
Yes.
The amount of positivity you feel, and you know, people looking to decrease stress out there, people looking to live healthier. Let's not ignore that. I think her words of wisdom, we need to actually heed. You're right. It brings health.
And best practices. When you think of the duality, experiences in life will not change for us. It's to perfect us through the spirit and the culture and the tradition of us. That's the greater self we all are seeking. And so I speak to the young people, find who are you. And I use the word and they tickle themselves because I'm the queen mother of hip hop. The 50th anniversary that we just had, Boogie Down the Bronx in New York, and there in Yankee Stadium, when I crowned the king of hip hop, Kool Herc.
Look at that.
And the queen of hip hop for their 50th anniversary. And I say to the young people, and I give them the example. I went to the Olympics this past year in France. And when I arrived at the airport, I had never seen so many sneakers in all my life. And I'm glad I had my sneakers on in a wheelchair. And as I sat in the airport, I was saying I could have really had a sneaker party with all the beautiful sneakers.
Colors.
You name the design.
Amazing, right?
Artistic presence of creativity was taking place on sneakers.
Which is so right. You give a good example of how much we're capable of just for sneakers. Imagine what we could do for the world. You know what?
Wait now.
But you know what I was going to say? Unfortunately, but I have to have you back because for this show, as every show that's so wonderful like this one, the time has flown. But I want to thank you because I know you're such a busy lady. And I promise you all, we're going to have her back because she has so much to say. And we have something very special that we're going to do on the next segment with her. But
I want to tell the youth, run, run, run as fast as you can to make the world a better and safe place for all of us. The legacy has been passed on to you, the queen mother of hip hop. Peace.
There you go. Peace to you. Let's heed that message. And for this segment, we hope you enjoyed it, Queen Mother and I. And we will see you on the next episode of A Time for Truth show. Be very well.
This show was sponsored by A Time for Truth Foundation Incorporated as a community service.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet